Samantha from JSMR Tutorials here, and today I'm going to show you how to create a cute pair of polymer clay earrings. Now, to start off with, you're going to want some white or pearl white. Either one will work. I'm going to be using pearl white today, and I'm going to be working with Primo polymer clay. You're then going to want a selection of colours. I have Primo purple, just double checking here, Primo coronation, and then Primo mauve. And just basically a selection of purples, but you can go with whatever colour you want. You're then also going to want a texture stamp. I'm going to go with this Frozen Fractures texture stamp. There'll be a link in the description below to where to purchase that. I sell it on my Etsy store, JSMR Design. But any texture stamp will work for this. You're then also going to want part of a cheese grater. A whole cheese grater will be fine, but mine's broken, so I'm just going to be using half of it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these pieces and I'm just going to shave a pretty thick layer of them over the surface of my clay, so that I almost entirely cover up the pearl white. Okay. And I'm just going to give that a burnish, and I'll see how much it covers before I decide either to stamp it or shave more. If I can still see pearl white, then I'm going to continue going until I can no longer see pearl white. And I'm just going to alternate between the colours because I want there to be an even distribution of all of the colours. And again, you can use any colour of clay that you want. So have some fun with it. And there we go. That is how it should look. Now I'm just going to lift that up so you can see close up how that looks. It's a really nice effect. But yeah, at this point we're going to stamp it. And I'm going to be using a silicone texture stamp, so I don't need to worry about adding anything like cornstarch. I'm just going to place that straight down onto the stamp. Actually, before I do that, just going to bring over a baby wipe. Alright, and I'm just going to place that straight down, bring that over, and then use that to press the clay. And the reason I am doing that instead of just sprinting it immediately without the baby wipe in between is because it just creates a non-stick layer that prevents my fingers from sticking in the stamp. There we go. Okay. And just remove that up, and you should be able to see the pattern. Alright, and then I'm just going to grab a corner and lift it straight up. And there we go. That is how the pattern should look. I'm then going to just trim up around these edges. This, along with any other scraps from these techniques, I can use on the back of my earrings. There we go. And then I'm just going to wait for this back to dry because I want it to stick down onto my tile. Then, once it's dried, just press it down using the palm of your hand onto your work surface. I'm using a glass tile. A ceramic tile will also work. You could leave it like this if you want to, just bear in mind. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to shave off the top surface so that I reveal the pattern a little bit more. And I'm just using a tissue blade for that. And because we had such a thin layer of like shaved on colours, that pearl white should come through pretty easily. So just go really shallow with your cuts, and then just continue going around the pattern, just removing those extra pieces until you reveal as much or as little of the pattern as you want. And I think that's going to come out looking quite cool. Remember to keep all of these little scrap pieces. And there we go. Fantastic pattern. I'm now going to just take a piece of paper and I'm just going to give it a burnish to flatten out any remaining texture so that it's just one smooth piece of clay. And there we go. That is how it looks. I'm really happy with how that has turned out. This could look really cool in greens, just because it kind of reminds me of leaf litter with roots kind of springing up from underneath, so this could look really cool in a number of different colours. I'm going to pop that to the side and we're just going to work on the backing. So I've just got all of the little scrap pieces from this project so far, and I'm going to squish those all together. This includes any trimmings, shaves, or potentially any of the particles that came out of the cheese grater that didn't end up on the main piece of clay. And I think I'm going to go for a marble, so let me put the blade out of the way. I'm just going to take that and I'm going to give it a roll and then just twist it. Actually, I'm thinking I'm going to do something along the lines of a mix between a marble and a cane. So I'm going to take that, now that it's been twisted, and I'm going to squish it back together. Purposefully, like really squishing it. And then cut it in, or excuse me, mold it into a rectangle shape. And then I'm going to cut slices from that and I'll put that together. And then let's see how that looks. There we go. Technically not a cane, but I'm not really sure what you would call it. It's just kind of taking a marble, marbling it, and then cutting off the pieces, and then I'm going to just place those all back together again and then flatten it out until it's enough to cover the back of my piece. Just a nice simple use of the leftovers. There we go. Right, then just grab your roller and then just roll it out, oops, until all of the pieces stick together. So that one didn't stick. There we go. You want it to stick together and stretch out so that it can fit the entirety of the back of the piece. So it's wide enough. I'm going to pop it through the pasta machine until it's long enough. And here we go. So this is roughly about 1/2 millimeter thick. And I'm just going to take that, flip it over, and place this on top. And then when you do apply it, just smooth it and make sure that you don't trap air bubbles between the two layers. And that should cover the pattern for the back. There we go. And now we're ready to cut out our earrings, because I feel like this pattern on its own is really nice. I don't think I'm going to add anything to it. If you wanted to, you could add another veneer to it, but again, I just think that it looks really good the way that it is, so I'm not going to add any extra. And I've just moved it onto a piece of paper. I was going to make earrings with this, but I had a look at, I was going to use some narrow ovals, but I ended up cutting off a lot of the pattern and I just really like the way it looks. So I have decided against that, and I'm actually going to be going for a trinket dish. Just a small trinket dish. It will capture most of the pattern, and I just think I will end up being happier with that in the long run. So I've got these little tile trinket dishes this is a 6.5 centimeter one, if I'm not mistaken. No, this is a 7.5 centimeter by 7.5 centimeter square, just so that you know what size it is. And I'm going to use that to cut out a piece. And this is going to be a nice little ring holder. It's been a little bit since I've made a trinket dish, so I think that would be nice. And just remove that extra. And there we go, that's how it looks. And here's how the back looks, nice and clean. And the scraps that we have from here, save them. We're going to be using those to create the little feet for the base of our bowl. Alright, and I've just got this ceramic trinket dish that I think will fit the size that I want. So I'm just going to place this down and center it to the best of my abilities. Okay. And then just press down until, again, it's got a centered dome. And you could go the whole way down if you wanted to, or you can kind of mess with the shape a little bit. You could have these sticking straight up. I think I want them sticking straight up. Just shift that further into the bowl if you want. Or you could leave it facing up, it's completely up to you. I'm going to get it right down to the base of the bowl and then smooth it into place. Okay, I think that works. I might try out a larger bowl. Yeah, I've got this one here, because this one is a little too deep for my liking. I want it to more sit like that. So I think this one might actually be the size that I want it. Yeah. There we go. Just a little bit more of a shallow base. I'm just going to smooth that down till it's in the correct spot. And then this is going to go into the oven for a full hour at Primo's recommended temperature. And then once it's baked, it will get a sand. And then we're going to apply some feet so that the bowl has a base. I would also recommend just smoothing around the sides here to just get rid of any sharp edges and give it a light bevel as well. It can look nice. But yeah, go pop that in the oven. And here it is out of the oven. I've given it a sand across the entire surface with a 600 grit sandpaper and then a 800 grit sandpaper to clean up the image and just leave a nice smooth satin finish. Now I'm just going to grab the scraps that we have. I bundled those all up into a single piece of clay, rolled it out to about 2 millimeters thick, and I am going to be cutting out a donut that is the same shape as my actual bowl, and that is what I'm going to use as the base for my piece. There's lots of ways that you could create different bases. I just think this is a nice easy one. There we go. And again, using the scraps is a nice easy way to do that. Okay, and there we go. With that made, I'm going to grab some liquid clay. And just a little bit of translucent liquid clay should work. Just going to take this and flip it over. I did distort it a little bit picking it up, but it should be okay. Okay. This is the liquid clay I'm using. I would recommend always using a translucent liquid clay. And this will just help stick everything together. Just place a light amount onto the surface. And the reason you use translucent is because if any of it does kind of smooth out through the sides, once it bakes you won't really be able to see it all that much. So it just kind of covers for any mild mistakes you might make. Okay, now I'm just going to place that roughly in the middle. Just tap it down and then you can move it around. So just position it so that it is sitting just about in the middle. And I'll just rotate that around and around to see where it should go. The liquid clay helps it move around. Then grab a piece of paper, take this and place that onto a piece of paper, and you can see from there how stable it is. I like to just take the middle and press lightly to just really make sure it's secure, and it will just kind of flatten it out and create a little bit of a divot in the middle, and it should sit completely stably. You're then going to pop that into the oven for another 40 minutes at Primo's recommended temperature, and then from there we can varnish. And here it is out of the oven. I've already varnished the back side, and now I'm going to show you how to varnish the front side. Before I get started here, I do want to apologise for the noise that the roadworks are making outside. I'm not sure how long they're going to be going for. I've been waiting to do the recording, but they've been going all day so far, so they're just going to be in the background for now. Anyway, I'm going to be using Varathane water-based gloss varnish. Pearl X varnish will also work. And I'm just going to brush a thin coat of that over the piece. And I don't want to overdo it, so I'm just going to apply it to the edges first, and then kind of let it drip into the bowl so that I don't end up with more varnish than I need. And this is a little trick to avoid having the varnish kind of pool in the center. And just work quickly because you don't want the varnish drying on you when you're doing this. And then once you've got all of the edges covered, then just start dragging that varnish down the whole way around, and then you can add more as you go, but you just want a nice thin consistent layer. And then that is going to take about 15 minutes to dry, and then we'll be done. And here we go. This is how it looks once that varnish is dried. And you can see that it's left a really nice shiny finish. This is the best effect, I think, when it comes to finishing off pieces. The best way to achieve it is to give it a bit of a sand before applying the varnish, and that allows the varnish to settle into a nice glossy finish. And there you can see how the back looks. Quite happy with how that's turned out. But yeah, that is just about it for the tutorial. I do hope that you enjoyed. This one was quite a lot of fun. I think this Mokume Gane is something I should revisit in the future. It just looks really nice. The mix of the pearl white metallic with the opaque glaze also creates a really nice contrast, and could be experimented around with different metallic glaze and different opaque glaze. Translucent glaze instead of the opaque glaze could also work very nicely. But yeah, if you enjoyed the tutorial, please do let me know in the comments below, and if you liked the video, please do leave a like and consider subscribing, as I do videos just like this about every single day. And if you'd like to support the channel so that I can continue creating videos just like this one, please do consider becoming a member. There's a join button just below this video, or there's a link to my Etsy store where you can find things such as the texture stamp and the cutters that I used in today's video. All of those are great ways to support the channel, and I'll greatly appreciate it. I do hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.